Welcome to Against All Odds, where real stories meet real resilience. I'm your host, Amber, and each episode dives into the moments that test us and the strength that carries us through, because every story is a comeback story.
Welcome back to Against All Odds, where we share raw, real stories of resilience. Not the polished kind, but the kind that's messy, painful, and transformative. Today's guest, Christina Cici Eilet, embodies that truth to her core. Christina was born in a tiny village in Romania and brought to the suburbs of Denver by her American adoptive parents, where she learned early what it meant to be other. Despite facing cruelty and isolation, she fought through, graduated high school, and went on to earn her bachelor's degree in creative writing and graduate of summa cum laude from University of Colorado. But Christina's story isn't just about achievement. It's about endurance. She's lived many lives, from working in funeral homes and luxury car sales to managing households and even water treatment. Through it all, she's been underestimated, talked over, dismissed, and yet she kept showing up. Life has hit her hard through chronic pain, illness, car wrecks, surgeries, and deep personal losses, including the passing of her brother. She's lost parts of herself she thought she needed to survive, but somehow, cut that part out, she's kept finding her way back. Christina's life is a masterclass in real resilience, the kind that comes from screaming into the void and still getting up the next morning. That is the kind of person that we want here on the podcast. The kind where you learn that being your own savior isn't optional, it's survival. And today, she's here to share her journey of transformation, healing, and rising again and again. Christina, I'm so honored to have you here on Against All Odds podcast. Okay, Cici, I'd love to talk about early life and just kind of your identity growing up in, a small suburb of Romania and moving here after you were adopted to Denver, Colorado, to a family who was not from Romania. What was that like for you growing up as a kid?
Yeah, so I was adopted from Romania when I was 4 months old. My American family found me. So basically, what happened was my dad, he's a retired orthopedic surgeon. He had a physician's assistant, basically, who went on a goodwill trip to Romania. Yeah. He found it in his heart. He wanted to go to the Romanian orphanages. And fortunately, I actually never was in a Romanian orphanage. Yeah. If anyone knows anything about them, they're one of the worst places to ever end up in. When my mom had me, she left me in the hospital that I was born in. Wow. And the nurse that was taking care of me, she actually pretended that I had pneumonia. So it says in my records that I had pneumonia. She pretended that I was sick. So I was basically blessed from the time that I was little. Yeah. I was protected even from then. And so for the first 4 months of my life, she pretended that I was sick to keep me out of the orphanage. So that physician's assistant went to Romania and he found his own children and adopted his own Romanian children. My dad kind of wink, nodded, can you bring me back a little girl? Because my parents weren't able to have their own biological children. And so he came across me. And so, I was a way to complete their little family. They already had an adopted boy from Florida, my brother. And so they brought me home when I was 4 months old. And so I came into their lives, and so they were living here in a Denver suburb. And so I grew up, had pretty happy childhood up until, didn't think I was any different than anybody until I started kind of realizing that I didn't really necessarily look exactly like everybody else. Like I wasn't like a, blonde, blue-eyed kind of girl.
Sure.
And especially as I started to grow into my features as I was a teenager, like I maybe had a little more body hair than everybody else, and like darker features and like a hooked nose,
which is beautiful, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you. But people would make comments to me that I just looked quite different than everybody else. And so that became a way for them to notice me as just quite different than everybody else. And so from basically the time I went into elementary school, that's where the like vicious and cruel bullying started. And I would say it really didn't stop until high school. Yeah. And so it got to the point where basically every day after school I would come home crying. Like literally every day I would come home crying. And, parents were made aware, teachers were aware, and, my mom made phone calls to the other students' parents, and they basically just denied the fact that their children were bullying me. And so, really not a whole lot stopped it. Unfortunately, and along the way, like I did my thing to try to stop it, like to the point where there was like one incident where like I stood up to a bully and like I at least was able to stop one of the bullies from bullying me. But I got into trouble and I ended up with detention, and it made me look like a bad person. And it was like, it came back to where they basically told me, that kid came home to his dad, and his dad ended up, from what I heard, beating him.
Wow.
And it was horrible.
Wow, yeah.
It made me feel like I was the bad person for standing up for myself. And so I think that was one of the things that challenged me from growing into the woman that we'll talk about a little bit later, standing up for myself eventually, and becoming into the woman that I needed to be to like protect myself. And it ended up keeping me like as a victim and keeping me as a person who couldn't protect myself or
no, that makes
stand up for myself in any meaningful way.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. I know that school can be so rough, and kiddos are mean, and I think I think everyone is dealing with their own issues as we grow up, right? Identity. I mean, everyone goes through some kind of identity issue. I mean, I definitely did growing up for sure. And I think too, like, I guess one of my questions is, how did your adoption in general play into that? Like, were you ever, feeling that way also because you were adopted?
It could be like I had one specific bully, and she made fun of me for being adopted. And it was so funny because years later we found out that she actually was adopted, and it was so silly because it ended up that she was adopted, and it was like, wow, how funny, like that she was adopted, and I just thought that was like so silly.
No, it is. And sometimes people can be hypocrites, when they haven't experienced something. I mean, I think we've all done it at some point too. I've definitely had moments when I was younger where I judged someone, and then later on it happened to me. And it's the way life works. But I am sorry that you experienced that. I hate that. And kids today go through it all the time.
And I mean, it got to the point where I basically ended up having a pretty severe like mental breakdown. It was that bad. Like the cruelty was that bad. I mean, people talk about like to the point where it leads people to, it did lead me to having a mental breakdown.
When you were younger.
It did lead to like self-harm, to the point where like I tried to kill myself. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And so I had to like basically almost drop out of high school. And I think it actually ended up like where people were talking about me because I disappeared from school. And so it was hard to eventually like go back to school because I knew people were talking about the fact that I had just like disappeared from school one day. And even teachers were like, we know you can like do better than this, like, and you should be performing in school. And I was like, well, how can I perform in school when I don't even want to be like on this planet? Like, you know, algebra 2 and Spanish aren't really priorities when you're like, I don't even want to be here. You know.
Yeah, that makes me think a lot about like the mental health system and the lack thereof, you know, especially like earlier on. Maybe when, I don't know how old you are, but I think, you know, when we were growing up, I think there was a lot less talk about mental health. I don't even remember there ever being a therapist like in my school. And now I think that the topic of bullying has become so popular because people are finally starting to talk about it, and things are happening. I don't know that if the bullying will ever stop because kids were going to be mean. However, I think there's new ways that we can address that. So I guess, you know, kind of going off of that, what is one piece of advice you could give, let's say like your younger self, if you could go back and you were in those times of being bullied?
Yeah, I mean, I think what ended up being the thing that changed things for me is like, of course, what I've started doing now very, very strongly is to like advocate for myself. And that really started after my car accidents. Like, which was, gosh, probably 5 years ago. It really started after like the physical things started happening to my body. That I started to kind of draw the line. But, you know, it took like a guidance counselor to start intervening for me in high school. And I was one of the first students in my school district to get interventions where I was able to go to school online in a classroom setting.
That's amazing.
Because I just wasn't able to go to school anymore because of the social problems that I was having, because of the bullying that I was going through. And so they allowed me to step out of that setting. And once I could take my classes online and be away from that, I graduated early and my grades just flipped, like, and I succeeded and I was able to graduate high school instead of dropping out. And I thank her, and I went back and I thanked her for her help because she changed my life. That one person.
Interesting.
Because once you can get the proper accommodations that you need, your life can change.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Interventions and accommodations are something that I think are starting to be talked about. It hasn't always been that way, and I think there's still a lot of stigma, you know, with some counties, some neighborhoods, some families, some school districts that like intervention isn't needed, or, you know, my kid's perfect or whatever. But I'm really grateful that you had someone to kind of guide you, because that is super rare.
Me too. Yeah. I just don't think about that. But I mean, I think about all the kids and all the things and all the tragedies like that happen. And like, of course, like I never thought to hurt anybody else. Like everything was pointed inward. But because there was one time like where I thought, why don't I see what it's like? Because I always heard the theories about people bully other people because it gives people a sense of power and strength. And I thought, well, that's so interesting. So why don't I see what this is like? And there was one time where I said something intentionally mean to another girl, and it felt so like icky and gross and disgusting. And it made me feel so horrible that I knew that I could never ever intentionally hurt another person ever again, because
You've been through it.
I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to see what it was like.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if that was truly what it was about. And for me it was not.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective too. I think some of it, as we talked about earlier, is just like insecurity or of whatever, or jealousy is a common one too. Yeah. But not for everyone.
It's disgusting.
Like
the feeling
felt that. Yeah.
It still bothers me to this day that I did that, and I hope that I hope that girl never thinks about what I did or said to her.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I still feel guilty about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, the fact that you have those feelings means that you are truly amazing and good to the core person. And I can really appreciate that too.
But I wanted to understand that perspective. Like I wanted to step into those shoes, and I wanted to see like, what is this about? I wanted to like understand like, why are these people doing this? Like, is that what it is? And like, I can't. I can't understand that perspective. So
do you find
makes me sick.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I know. Do you find that you put yourself, and I'm asking this for several reasons, and I'll explain this again, but do you find that you put yourself or try to put yourself in people's shoes when you don't understand what they're doing?
All the time.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Too much so. Like I think it drives me crazy though.
I totally resonate with that. Well, I think it's seeking to understand someone else's behavior when it doesn't make sense to you, or something that you would never do, especially if it's an unkind or horrible behavior.
But yes, I've tried to like wrap my head around it with my therapist, like even to this day, like why my bullies would do what they did, and like why they would have come at me with that, because I've like tried, did they have a crush on me? That whole thing, like about the guys just like had a crush on you, they were just like trying to like get your attention. But I mean, okay, you could have just told me that you liked me, because that was the part of the thing too, is like guys would like ask me out as a joke, and like, you know, I would like ask out guys, and they would be like, they would laugh in my face and say like, we would never even consider dating you. And so like I grew up with like a huge ugly duckling complex, and so like growing up and having guys actually like me was like a weird like brain trip thing. So
interesting. Oh man, middle school boys. Sorry for anyone listening who has a middle school boy or just has boys in general, but they can be so cruel. But yeah, so you talked a little bit about, and let me know if at any point you want to break, by the way, but you talked a little bit about, you know, what that looks like and how that shaped you as a woman today. Can you tell me a little bit about like what that process and that journey in your childhood and growing up, like what did it make you today, and how are you the person that you are today because of it?
I mean, I think it's definitely made me like incredibly empathetic to other people. Like I really think about other people, and I call myself like the recovering doormat, because throughout my entire life, I just always did and said and wanted to appease other people like all the time. And so that created a lot of problems for me in my life. And eventually I think it came out in like a lot of the health problems that I had to deal with. And so
you were taking it on, your body was taking it on.
Exactly, 100%. The theories that the doctors have about a lot of my medical conditions that I eventually have now, like fibromyalgia. After my car accident back in 2020, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And they believe that a lifetime of that trauma can like set off fibromyalgia. And then of course I also have endometriosis. And so I think having to like stuff down all of those feelings throughout my whole life and just pander to everyone else, like I talked about, being talked over, being just pushed down, and just like just going through everything. and just keeping all of like the anger, the resentment, and everything in, it can just make you really, really sick as a person.
Yeah. No kidding. Have you ever read the book The Body Keeps the Score?
I need to. Yeah.
Okay, I have a copy of it, and I'm going to give it to you after this, because it talks so much about that exact thing. And I bring it up a lot because I think I brought it up in my last podcast, actually, because it's so true. When you go through trauma, your body stores it. And your brain, quite literally, like the neuroplasticity in your brain, if you were to do a brain scan of someone who had childhood trauma or any kind of trauma, it shows up different than someone who didn't. Like, it's just a scientific fact. And I don't think that we think about that. So the way that we, approach things and people, I think should always come from a trauma-informed lens, because you just don't know. And we're often in fight or flight mode if we've experienced some trauma. I talked about this last session and my last podcast, but that living in that back part of your brain called the amygdala, where you're just constantly living in this fear that you're going to experience the thing that you did or whatever. But when your body stores it, and you're repetitively doing that throughout your life without even knowing that you're doing it, all kinds of health problems can come.
Yeah. And I think for me, like, what isn't talked about enough is like there's the fight or flight, but then there's the fawn.
Yeah,
I was the perpetual fawner. Like, I would just yes, whatever everybody else wants. Like, I would just everything and anything that everyone else wanted. Like, I was there.
Yeah.
I would do everything. Like, I was just a perpetual in my family. Like, everything everyone else wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there to mediate and make everyone else happy.
Peace. Yeah.
And I would just do it and be there to make everyone else happy and not make waves and just
keep the peace.
But it will make you really, really sick.
Yeah, no, for sure. And do you want to talk a little bit about that piece of your life? Okay,
we definitely can.
Okay,
cool. So after I got into a couple of car accidents, I got rear-ended. And then I was at a food bank because I, of course, was working my own business. So so I started my career at a funeral home when I was in college. I worked at a funeral home because somebody said, "Oh my gosh, you've got such like a calm, peaceful personality. You should work at a funeral home." And I was like, you're right. I really love helping people. And I should probably see about maybe working in a funeral home because I'm kind of like a little goth girl.
Yeah. So it's cute. I like it.
I was like, okay, that would be great because I'm such a passionate person about like death care and end of life, and that's something that has continued even after I left the funeral home. And so I started working at a funeral home, and so I worked there when I was in college and even after I graduated. And so that has just been a really big passion throughout my life. And so then I started, I transitioned. I worked in luxury car sales for a while, and then I was running my own cleaning business. So I would be working like 10-hour days cleaning people's houses.
Gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. And so I was working a physically demanding job, and then I ended up getting these car wrecks. And so ended up losing my business, which was horrible. Because, when you get hit and get these injuries, I just couldn't work the physically demanding job anymore. And so I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which can get triggered by a traumatic event. And so that and just a whole host of like different medical conditions ended up coming out. And so it was a concussion. It was just like chronic migraines, and all kinds of other different issues. And then so I started treating those. I ran up like about $90,000 worth of medical bills in a couple of years. It's amazing how fast you can run up medical bills really fast.
Oh my gosh, the healthcare system is incredibly expensive.
And so ended up having to like get a lawyer and go through the lawsuits just because that's how you can get your medical bills paid for.
You're not wrong.
And so went through all of that. And so from that standpoint, I tried basically everything you can imagine. I mean, I was in PT, chiro, cupping, doing, medical massage. There's almost nothing I haven't tried. So when people come to me and they're like, have you tried yoga?
Yeah, you're like, yes. I'm like, trust me. Yeah.
I tried yoga. Yeah. Like, I have tried almost everything you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, interesting.
Like injections. Gosh, I can't even tell you. But and so I went through that whole medical journey, and then just trying to recover as best as I could, but just not being like the same person. And so struggling with now being like a partially disabled person is its own like
I don't know, an invisible illness.
Are you allowed to cuss on
the podcast? Of
but
course.
Like it's like a mind fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To be like going from like a fully healthy person to now being like a partially disabled person. And trying to figure out like
I'm so true.
Went from like cleaning 10 hours a day to now being like, okay, what do I do now that I can't even like clean my own house?
Yeah.
And so
that's a really hard mind fuck.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Because like now I was doing this thing, and so now my like career options are limited. And so thankfully I had an amazing like best friend who was like, you should come and do what I'm doing. And so that's what got me into like water treatment. But it's definitely weird to transition like that.
So tell me about, getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Like, was that relieving for you? Did you feel like there was some kind of like, oh, I finally know what it is, or not really because it's this invisible illness? Or
I mean, it was kind of crazy because I was going to like a pain doctor and I was like hoping that I was gonna get some kind of like help or relief, but he just like straight up gaslit me, and it started me like advocating for myself because I finally got so fed up with him. Like he fired me up so bad because he was like, you need to get your mental health under control. And I was like, sir, I have just lost my business. I have gone through these car accidents, and I am like seeing my mental health providers. Like I've got these two amazing women who are helping me with my mental health, and like that's being worked on. Okay. Like that's under control. Like that's in process. But like I just realized I'm disabled now. And so that's a thing I need to like process and figure out. But like I need you to do your job. Like you need to help me get my physical pain under control, because that will also help me get like my mental like pain under control. And so like I had just like had it. And I was like, you can't just tell me like I'm like a hysterical woman and like you can't help me, because like that does not help.
No, that's the least helpful thing I've ever heard.
So like I reported.
Good.
You can report people. Like you can report people and like their medical license, and like got a scathing like Google review.
I love that. Okay, love it.
Yeah, like advocate for yourself is what I'm saying. Like that started the ball rolling, and it kind of just has never stopped. But in terms of getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia, like you just have to find the right providers. Like I started curating like this amazing group of like great providers for my health, and like that has really helped. So
interesting.
I start like researching providers before I go to them now.
It's probably good.
If I don't like them, like I'm just not going back to you.
I think that's smart.
So I just don't take shit from people like as much as possible anymore.
Don't blame you.
And so like I just like I hate confronting people, and I always did, and that was part of me being like a recovering doormat.
Sounds like you got a specialty doctor of every sort, kind of narrowed it down, and then it sounds like you finally found one doctor that was able to diagnose you. And how did that go?
I basically told him I think I have fibromyalgia, and he was like, yep, sounds like you do. I believe you.
Wow.
Yep. And that's pretty much how it went with my endo diagnosis too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you started advocating for yourself. You said, you know what? No, I'm actually in this position. I know what's going on in my body better than anyone else does. And you said, this is what I have.
And I thought it was so funny that my like endo specialist was also a man, and he was like, yeah, you know your body, and you're absolutely correct. And I was like,
Interesting.
damn. This is
Damn.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So did they have to do a test for endometriosis?
I mean, he didn't. He was just like, it sounds 100% like you have endometriosis and I'm ready to do surgery on you. And on top of that, what was totally crazy was, so is it okay for to keep talking? So as much as like so it really did bother me, to know that like I felt like I needed to get my uterus removed because there's endometriosis, which is the disease growing outside of your uterus.
Right.
And there's adenomyosis, which is the disease growing inside of your uterus.
Okay.
And so I just knew that it was growing inside of my uterus as well. I just knew it without.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had MRIs, CAT scans,
Yeah.
multiple ultrasounds.
Yeah.
They didn't see it on
No, that's how it usually works with endometriosis.
They couldn't see it on any of those.
Yeah.
But I was like, just the way that my body reacts. Like, there was one time where my husband, he actually saw how it affected me, and he was literally like trying to shove like opioids down my throat. He was like, I can't see you suffer like this, because he had never really seen, even in being married for like 9 years, he was like, I've never really seen how bad this affects you. And he was like, I can't see you in this amount of pain. Like, you are suffering so bad. Like, it was hurting him to see me hurt that bad. He freaked out, which was understandable, because he was like, this is clearly like hurting you so bad. And I was like, yeah, this is how it is.
Yeah.
But so I told my surgeon, I was like, I want you to proactively take my uterus out, even though like your uterus is part of you,
right,
and who you are as a woman.
Sure.
And
but doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but it did to me.
Yeah.
Because like, even though it's like only that big, right? It's a very small piece of your body.
Yeah.
It's like when a woman goes through and has like a mastectomy for breast
cancer. Sure.
It's for me, it was a really big deal emotionally and mentally, because and they took my cervix too. Wow. And so it still bothers me. Because it's part of who you are as a woman.
Sure.
And I know my husband said, you're not less of a woman. Of course, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to one of my best friends who had a mastectomy. But it bothers you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it does. And just thinking about it, and gosh, and we don't talk about this much in society either. I think a lot of women live with endometriosis and are wrongly accused of just being crazy or whatever. I've seen it so many times. And I think that's a really unique perspective that you bring too, of like, you went in there and you were like, nope, I know that this is what I've had. I've done my research. I feel the pain. And you said, and finally you got someone to say like, yeah, that's what it is. So they removed everything, and then did they confirm?
Yeah, and I had adenomyosis. He was right. He was like, you were right. You had it. We tested your uterus for the disease, and sure enough, you had it.
Wow.
And there was so much endometriosis inside of my body. They were like, you're such a tiny human.
Yeah.
They were like, there's so much endometriosis disease inside of you.
Yeah.
That we were actually concerned with how much we had to take out of your body. I was out of work for 11 weeks, and it was not enough.
Yeah.
In Colorado, we have family
leave.
and it was not enough.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that's gosh, I can't even imagine. Well,
they say 6 to 8 weeks.
Right. Well, everyone heals differently too, and when they take that much out, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So did you end up having to take more leave, or what did you do?
So I did. So the thing was that it was, right before I was supposed to go back to work.
Yeah.
My brother died.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
Yeah. And so that's what made it like crushing. Was.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. Cry, by the way. Man, how long ago did this happen?
That was June 16th that my brother died. I had my surgery on March 5th.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, me too.
It's really, really recent.
Yeah.
How are you handling everything? How are you processing?
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so I ran out of time off from my job. And so I had to quit my job.
Yeah. People don't talk about that. That is a real thing. They expect you to just grieve and get over it, and keep on moving on.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really tough. I'm sorry that you had to experience that.
Yeah.
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 So you've gone through a lot, a whole lot physically, I think emotionally. What would you say, is the thing that kind of keeps you going? Like, how do you get out of bed every morning? And you told me a quote that's like a self-affirmed quote. If you want to tell everyone what it is.
Oh yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
That's okay. No, here, hold on. Here, just pull up. No, I loved it, so I'll cut this part out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope you have it.
No, I do. Okay, yeah. So, you said something powerful to me. Being your own savior isn't optional. It's survival. And I would love to hear about, what that means to you now, like in this season of your life.
Yeah, so
Wow, they're just really, really touring today. I'm telling you. There are more people out today than I've seen probably since I've lived here.
Children very popular.
Yes, yes. It's your presence, I think, is what it is. I love it. Sorry that we have to keep talking. At some point, I'd love to find a studio, actually, but that'll come. They'll come back over here, I'm sure. Well,
yeah, that means your marketing is working. It's good. It's their job.
I mean, it is such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I signed, so when I got divorced, I flew home. Well, I guess you separated, whatever. It takes 91 days to actually get divorced, legally. But flew home and signed this place blindly, didn't even come look at it. And I got really lucky. But anyways, okay, so I'm just going to say this again. So you said something powerful to me. You said being your own savior isn't optional, it's survival. And I'm curious to know what that means to you now in this phase and part of your life.
Yeah, so there are even days now where I can't get out of bed, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I'm actively like in burnout still, but I think something that got told to me was that people see me as the phoenix, and it's okay to still be the phoenix in the like holes.
Yeah, it is.
And like still being like smoking. Yeah. And that's okay too. Yeah. But I know that I've been through so much stuff in my life that like it's okay to just like be, and I know that I will come out of it. Yeah. And like I think the thing is that I have like the message that I want to share with people is that I have become like a strong woman who can come out of everything, like we were talking about earlier, getting to know each other a little bit better, is that like I can advocate for myself now. And I have become so much of a stronger woman, and that like I can stand up for myself so much more. And of course we're never perfect, but like I truly believe that like I can, and I have been becoming the woman that can like take care of myself. And I'm not perfect, and like throughout my surgery, like and everything, like I had a strong group of women who came in, took care of me. My mom, some of my best friends, like they came, they like washed my hair, they fed me, like so I didn't do this journey alone. But like there were moments like after I had my hysterectomy, like I stood up in my room and like I literally screamed like fuck at the top of my lungs. I was so frustrated.
Yeah,
like I screamed until I lost my voice because I was so angry. And like, but the thing that I'm learning is like you can't keep those emotions and you cannot keep that anger anymore in, and you cannot like let it be, and you have to give it a place to live that's not in your body. Because I can't continue to make myself sick with all the things that the people have done to me throughout my life. And so like I think we were talking about like one of your questions was like how do you get these things in like DBT skills? I'm not sure if you're familiar with
dialectical
those.
behavioral therapy.
Like those have
best.
been
Aren't they
like,
good?
I can't do the DBT skills the way that the book says because I got like a DBT workshop.
Yep, I know exactly what that is.
It's like the one with the green cover. I can't remember the name of it, but I was like given it, and then it like I didn't get to keep it, but I was working through it, and they're like throw socks at a wall, and I was like, I'm sorry, but that's not really like my style. So like my husband made me like outdoor like rec room.
Love that.
And they're like write a like letter to somebody who made you upset, and I was like, okay, so I like wrote up like a fuck you letter to like somebody who made me really upset, and I like ripped it apart and like lit it safely on fire in like our fire pit outside, and then like just like do it how it works for you, because I was like, for me it does not work to like throw socks at a wall. That's just not my style,
and it doesn't have to be.
But like thankfully I live in like a single family home, because I was telling my friend to do it and she lives in an apartment. If you scream at the top of your lungs, somebody might call the cops on you. But like do it safely in a way that like works for you, but like throwing socks at a wall is like not it for me.
No, for sure. I totally get that. I think it's more of like the message of like, you know, take your anger out on something so that you can let it go and let it be.
But like definitely advocate for yourself. Like, you know, I also take baths. You know,
I love baths.
Like, 'cause it's not all about being angry.
It's so true. Oh my gosh, those are so relaxing. I plug for Lush here, Lush Cosmetics. They're so good. Oh my gosh, their bath bombs are amazing. But yeah, I mean, you have shown, you know, us that you are so resilient, and the fact that you're sitting here today and willing to come on a podcast and talk about your journey, and you're here and just showing up, I think is so important. And being willing to tell your story, because there will be people that are going to relate to your journey, and you being able to say, hey, like, I'm choosing actually not to let this overcome me and not to let this control my body anymore. And being able to use your skills and your DBT skills and all of the other self-care things that you do, I think is incredible. And you are incredibly resilient. And I'm just really grateful that you decided to come on.
Thank you for having me, because I think that was the thing about like, because I planned and I ran my brother's entire funeral, because I was a funeral employee, and I'm a trained death doula, and so that was the theme of his entire service was resilience, because he struggled with his life, but he got up every day and he faced the day every day.
You have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. And I think no one wants to live miserably, right? And it is, there are things that happen to us in life, but I do feel strongly that it is a choice and a mindset to overcome that. And you are doing just that. I'm really, really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, this was lovely. Do you have anything else you wanted to share that we missed?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Okay. If you think of something, we can sit here and think about it for a second if you want. I kind of skip around a little bit just because I want it to like flow, but yeah, gosh, that was really awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're gonna touch a lot of women's lives, and like talking about endometriosis is huge.
It sucks. The disease sucks. I mean, it literally. I don't. It's indescribable. I mean, when women talk about their pain, it feels like you're being murdered.
Yeah.
And
literally, like on the inside. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Like it's just you get like, because when you see like a regular OBGYN, they tell you that, or like I saw my regular like pediatrician.
Yeah.
I had it from the time I was like 16.
Yeah.
And they're like, your periods are normal. You're bleeding through a tampon in under an hour.
Happens to me too. Yeah.
And like I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not normal. And I like read recently like that the advice is if you're doing that, you should probably go to the ER because that's like severe blood loss. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
You know, and when I've recently like gone to the like hospital for like the severe pain, they like put me straight up on Dilaudid or it's like, oh, okay, so like this is valid pain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just crazy how in the past they like, you know, I mean, I missed school because of it.
I was the same way growing up too. That's interesting. I feel like I just learned a ton from you too about endometriosis because I'm like, wow, I feel really validated. Because it's like I've been to OBGYNs and they're like,
and they'll give you every like birth control under the sun.
Yeah, they're like, you're fine. Like, well, we have to test it. It's a long process. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I also missed school a ton, like bleed through a bajillion tampons within an hour or two. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. Also, this won't go on here, but like I've never gotten pregnant in times where maybe I
Yeah.
So I'm also
it's very like it's fertility issues.
Yeah, it is. It's all of that. All of that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to kind of bring that onto the podcast as well. Just like I just think it's going to be something that people really relate to. There's a lot of things people can relate to you about, which is cool.
Yeah, like I just think that we probably weren't. I mean, we didn't want kids, but it was probably for the best.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, did it take you out of pain?
The problem is they think that it's already come back because of all the stress of my brother's death. So it's literally been no time, and I already probably need surgery again.
Oh my gosh! So it comes back?
Yep, it's an incurable disease.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that is news to me.
So because of all the stress of everything,
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Body keeps you score, man. Which I am going to go get for you out of my room.
Like
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, cool.
Like you remove everything and it's like, well, shit. 6 months later.
But at least I don't have a period anymore, so that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's really like nice. The one upside.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh, so true. But there's not a lot of like great upsides to that, but I guess not having a period can definitely be
the one plus.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cool. Well, so like, what are you doing now?
I'm just not working.
Just taking care of yourself.
Back to school, but we'll see.
Yay. What for?
Possibly like corporate training.
Ooh.
Sales training. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. That's exciting. You make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, you can.
Could you do it from home?
Possibly, but I don't mind the travel.
Yeah, I mean, travel's kind of nice too. And sometimes traveling just gets your mind off of things too.
Yeah.
That's what I find. If I distract myself, sometimes it helps.
Yeah.
But that's also just covering emotions too. So can't always do that.
I loved like the corporate training that we got through like Culligan. Was like I could totally do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this off so that way we can just not feeling pressured or whatever. Welcome back to Against All Odds, where we share raw, real stories of resilience. Not the polished kind, but the kind that's messy, painful, and transformative. Today's guest, Christina Cici Eilet, embodies that truth to her core. Christina was born in a tiny village in Romania and brought to the suburbs of Denver by her American adoptive parents, where she learned early what it meant to be other. Despite facing cruelty and isolation, she fought through, graduated high school, and went on to earn her bachelor's degree in creative writing and graduate of summa cum laude from University of Colorado. But Christina's story isn't just about achievement. It's about endurance. She's lived many lives, from working in funeral homes and luxury car sales to managing households and even water treatment. Through it all, she's been underestimated, talked over, dismissed, and yet she kept showing up. Life has hit her hard through chronic pain, illness, car wrecks, surgeries, and deep personal losses, including the passing of her brother. She's lost parts of herself she thought she needed to survive, but somehow, cut that part out, she's kept finding her way back. Christina's life is a masterclass in real resilience, the kind that comes from screaming into the void and still getting up the next morning. That is the kind of person that we want here on the podcast. The kind where you learn that being your own savior isn't optional, it's survival. And today, she's here to share her journey of transformation, healing, and rising again and again. Christina, I'm so honored to have you here on Against All Odds podcast.
Thank you for joining me on Against All Odds, a space where strength is shared and stories remind us what's possible. If today's conversation moved you, inspired you, or made you feel a little less alone, share it with someone who might need it too. I'm Amber, and until next time, keep going, keep growing, and never forget, your story matters.